In late 2018, 343 Industries will launch their next major Halo title, currently referenced by fans as Halo 6. But with the company's rocky reputation with the franchise thus far, many legacy Halo fans consider this to be their last opportunity to prove their worth. So today, I'm going to cover the top 5 mistakes that need to be avoided this time around in order to make this a superior Halo game. 343, I hope you're listening. Number 5. The series cannot end with Cortana being the bad guy. Many fans, including myself, witnessed the most gut-wrenching Halo ending we had ever seen when one of the most beloved characters in the series, Cortana, died while also saving the Master Chief's life at the end of Halo 4. However, fans were dicked over again when not only was she brought back in Halo 5 Guardians, but also she became the central villain. Killing her off in Halo 4 was already tough enough for Halo fans. After all, the bond between her and the Master Chief can be said to be the strongest and most powerful in the series. So bringing her back only to have her ultimately betray your best friend is beyond unacceptable. I mentioned in a previous video that the best way to circumvent this scenario would be the puppet theory. Having Cortana actually being under the power of another series villain like the now digitalized Didact, or perhaps even Mendicant Bias, the ancient Forerunner AI that ultimately betrayed its own creators. Whatever the case may be, Cortana needs to be back on our side by the end of this series. Number 4. Players should not have to rely on outside media to understand the game's plot. It's one thing for people to have understanding of the previous Halo titles, but when you have to rely on external content like books or graphics novels or films to fully understand what's going on in the current game, something is seriously wrong. And that something usually points to lazy writing. External content should only serve to further expand the fictional universe, not be necessary to understand the basics of the current one. And while other Halo games have had this issue, Halo 5 Guardians couldn't have been more on the nose about it. Right off the bat, we have 8 main characters, 6 of which we've never met before in any other Halo game, and especially Blue Team in particular, we're never given any real game reasons as to why they're there, how they got there, and where they've been all this time. Not only that, but literally from the opening scene, we learn that despite the Didact's defeat in the previous Halo game, the Prometheans are still a major threat. Halo 4 and 5 only take place a few months apart from each other, but the experience at the beginning of Halo 5 is so jarring, it might as well have been years rather than months. Halo 6 needs to work as hard as possible to make a smooth transition from the previous Halo title, and also to tie up any loose ends. If it takes a series of books to understand the basic plot, they've done something horribly wrong. Number 3. The campaign cannot be divided between multiple characters. Now, we've seen this occur at least in a few other Halo games, but so far the only time it truly made sense was in Halo 3 ODST. All of the characters were new, and we didn't feel a sense of loss when we jumped from one character to the next. Halo 2's attempt at this remains controversial. While most people like the Arbiter as a character, and it was indeed interesting to see the perspectives from both major sides of the war, players felt robbed when they were taken away from the Master Chief and Cortana. Worst of all, the final mission of the game was with the Arbiter rather than the Master Chief. On the upside, the Chief still technically had more missions than the Arbiter, and even better, at least we got to start the game off by playing our favorite Spartan. Halo 5, on the other hand, did a complete 180. Out of the game's 15 missions, only 3 of them are dedicated to the Master Chief and Blue Team. The rest are granted to Spartan Locke and Fireteam Osiris, a team where, unlike the Arbiter, receives very little character development throughout the course of the game. Even worse, the game both begins and ends with Locke rather than 117. This may very well be the most dangerous move 343 made in their latest Halo game, and this desperately needs to be avoided in the future. Number 2. 343 cannot remove any more existing features that have already been staples to the Halo franchise. Halo Reach was the first major title to do this by removing dual wielding. And no, I'm not counting Halo 3 ODST here since it was more of an expansion rather than a standalone game. Halo 4 continued this by removing both Firefight as well as Theater mode for campaign. And finally, Halo 5 Guardians removed Split Screen, a feature that had been included in every prior Halo title. One of the main reasons many consider Halo 3 to be the peak of the franchise is because it was the final Halo game to only add to the existing gameplay and universe rather than subtract items and features. Ever since then, the games have slowly been chipping away at the things that made Halo, well, Halo. Removing split screen from Halo 5 came off as more of a way for Microsoft to sell more Xboxes than it did as a reason to improve gameplay. 343 desperately needs to take this into consideration in the future. If anything, many of the features that have been removed over the course of the last few Halo games should be reintroduced into their next major Halo title. Before we get to number 1 on the list, we have a couple of honorable mentions. The first is the game's ending. Halo games that end with a to be continued status in the Halo universe has never been a popular way to bring a Halo game to a close. The next major Halo installment needs to wrap up the current story arc in a manner that will both satisfy current fans and legacy Halo fans alike. If we're left hanging again and forced to wait another 3 years before the next major Halo installment, the developers at 343 might as well start packing up boxes. And finally, the Rec Pack system is definitely worth mentioning here. While the way it was implemented into Halo 5 is just fine by my own standards, my own personal opinion is based solely on me playing only the game's Warzone firefight mode, so I can see this being a bigger issue for folks who are more competitively involved. Don't get me wrong, the system that's currently in place can work fine, but players being able to simply buy the better rec packs rather than only being able to earn them in-game can put players with less money to spend at a severe disadvantage. Microtransactions are a thing that needs to be avoided in the future multiplayer experiences entirely. If rec packs are here to stay, they should only be obtainable via in-game achievements and accomplishments, with the size of the player's wallet not being a factor. Number 1. The next major Halo title cannot be a bare-bones release. We need the full game on launch day. When Halo 5 Guardians was first released in October of 2015, fans were immediately disappointed with the lack of multiplayer options, no firefight or firefight alternatives like Spartan Ops, and especially no Forge. And while it may be true that we now live in a technological age where entire campaigns can be downloaded from Xbox Live and major features can be added on at a later date, it's also important to remember that oftentimes first impressions are the only ones we get. It took Halo 5 over a year to make its game a full one, and personally, I believe Halo 5 would have received much better reception had we had everything we do now from day one. Instead, players either had to choose from one of the least popular Halo campaigns to date, or a lackluster multiplayer with the new Warzone mode being the only real good option. Don't get me wrong, DLC in the form of new maps, weapons, or game fixes is fine, but if players are going to be charged full price, we need a full game to go with it. So those are my official top 5 mistakes 343 needs to avoid in making their next major Halo installment. Do you agree with my list? Have I left anything out? What would you add? Please be sure to let me know in the comments below, or you can let me know on Facebook and Twitter. Links to my social media accounts can be found in this video's description. And if you like this video, please be sure to share this with your friends and click that subscribe button for more video game related content every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday right here on MythicTyrant.com. Thanks for watching, guys and gals, and as always, I'm the Tyrant, signing off.